This dense line of passengers waiting to board is the starting condition for a unique biological environment. Thousands of strangers from all over the world are about to be packed into a closed, floating system. On an airplane, you share the air with strangers for a few hours. On a cruise ship, passengers share the same centralized ventilation, dining halls, and pools continuously for days or weeks at a time. This closed-loop setup creates a luxurious vacation experience. It also creates an ideal incubator for contagious pathogens. Once the ship leaves port, physical isolation traps its population. It becomes a highly susceptible biological island at sea. The timeline of an outbreak starts quietly on day 1, with the arrival of a single infected passenger, patient 0. But their early symptoms rarely sound alarms. Many respiratory or gastrointestinal viruses start out mimicking standard travel fatigue or mild seasickness. Even if they suspect an illness, passengers actively avoid reporting it. They paid thousands of dollars for a vacation, and the fear of being confined to a small cabin keeps them quiet. The ship departs. The medical team down below remains completely unaware of any active threat on board. That silence initiates a hidden biological timer. The pathogen gets a multi-day head start against the ship's sanitation and containment protocols. By day 2, patient 0 joins the crowd at a communal dining area. As this photo of a busy cruise ship buffet shows, passengers and chefs cluster tightly around shared food stations. Physical transmission thrives here. A shared object like a serving tong becomes a bridge for viruses like norovirus, a famously resilient cruise ship pathogen. This micrograph reveals the clusters of a viral particle. A sick person sheds huge amounts of these particles onto surfaces, yet it takes a shockingly small amount of biological material to infect a brand new host. We can track the mathematical start of the outbreak on this blank grid, where a single central dot represents patient 0. As healthy passengers touch those contaminated buffet surfaces, the first multiplication step occurs. One case directly spawns 3 new carriers. Within a matter of hours, normal passenger routines have transformed a localized surface contamination into a self-sustaining transmission chain. On day 3, those newly infected secondary passengers begin moving through the ship. They repeatedly cycle through high-density indoor spaces, like the enclosed, tiered seating of this theater, as well as narrow corridors and crowded elevators. The crew, like these 2 members in uniform overlooking the water, act as the connective tissue between completely isolated passenger zones. A single crew member interacts with hundreds of passengers a day. As they become infected and remain asymptomatic, they unknowingly bypass sanitation efforts and carry the pathogen to entirely new, unaffected decks. Looking back at our transmission grid, we can see the explosive impact of these cross-deck vectors. While the ship's medical base sits empty, rapid, unchecked exponential growth takes hold. 3 cases become 9, 9 multiply to 27, and 27 swell to 81. The operational design of the ship mathematically guarantees this acceleration as long as the primary cases remain undetected. The illusion shatters on day 4. The symptom incubation period for that secondary wave ends, sending a sudden influx of sick passengers to the clinic and filling isolated medical bay beds like the ones pictured here. The ship's captain triggers immediate emergency protocols. They prepare isolation cabins, begin aggressive contact tracing, and activate advanced air filtration measures. But exponential growth is unforgiving. By the time this first wave of patients actually reports to the doctor, those containment protocols are mathematically obsolete. This exact delay caused massive untraceable infections during the 2020 Diamond Princess incident. As seen in this night photo of the docked ship, that mathematical failure resulted in hundreds of infections and a prolonged, highly publicized quarantine. Authorities learned from that math. When the MV Hondius, pictured here navigating rough waters, experienced a rare hantavirus outbreak, officials implemented massive international quarantines immediately, even though the hantavirus pathogen is far less transmissible. Delayed medical intelligence allows a localized illness to outpace any human response. A single sick passenger quietly scales into a systemic catastrophe. The core vulnerability of a cruise ship comes down to alignment. It perfectly combines extreme human density with prolonged, continuous exposure. The simple confusion of early symptoms acts as a cloaking device. hiding the pathogen during its most crucial growth phase. Once a viral outbreak gains momentum at sea, the underlying math makes it nearly inescapable for anyone on board. On a floating citadel, the greatest weapon a virus possesses is time. Early detection remains the only mathematical defense against total